Embiid in his 7th game back after missing 10 due to a left knee injury. And here's Ben Simmons coming off a 17.9 assist game on Wednesday against a Nets team that barely played anybody in that game in a battle for first place in the East. Brooklyn made it close, but Philadelphia got the win. They double Embiid on the opening possession. And the shot clock at 3. Here's Scott from outside draining the triple.
To an open Mike Scott for 3, and that's what you want from your star. He's going to demand attention, so if he's just patient, you get to a
first points of the game, knocking down the foul line. Jay, it's 5-0 Philly. Paul George, as we mentioned, has been under the weather the last few days, not COVID related, but it doesn't impact him there. He's 138 on the year, career high in 3-point percentage, and then Danny Green comes. And you see Embiid a lot of times in the past, he'd take that shot, but Doc Rivers told us before the game, they want him to take the second 3 rather than doing it early in the shot clock as he hits the fall away for his 4th point.
Well, Dave, you know why? Because he can get, as you see here, like, you know what? No, I don't want it. I'm going to set the screen, reset the screen to a pick and pop, 1-2 dribble bump to the fadeaway.
And a foul.
Had to guard him a few times. Yeah, little old me had to guard Joel Embiid a couple of years ago. But I tell you what, I mean, it's just, you know, you hear about trusting the process, and you knew he was very capable. You just didn't know what was going to come out of that process. And right now, Joel Embiid has put the process on the floor, and adding somebody like Doc Rivers, I think he's extremely important.
In years, which when you consider the Clippers' history, that's quite an accomplishment. Now in his first year with Philly, and they've got a 15-3.
That stat, he can do whatever it is he wants to do, shoot the 3, shoot the mid-range, or post up and just draw fouls. And that's why I think he's in the running for MVP, because he can do it all on both ends. Running the floor, getting the easy dunk from Ben Sack. You're doing something right, Joel Embiid.
27 years old now in his 5th NBA season, 3rd overall pick back in 2014 as George has it rejected by Ben Simmons. Green with a 3 in transition. It's 20-3 Philadelphia. So it'll be 2 free throws on the ball for LA.
I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but the NBA is trying to protect the players in these type of matters, and it seems like, oh, it was accidental, but they have to call it.
Now in his 6th NBA team, and maybe having his best season. Certainly shooting the ball. He's up around 50. So it's a 5-on-4. Embiid is back on his feet, though, comes back into your picture.
Sorry about that, Dave. I love Danny Green. He's a Carolina guy, but hops is not his thing.
Should still be able to make the layup, though. Here's Jackson to Morris for 3, and it's good as he beats the shot clock.
With having PG and Kawhi, guys who can create shots for everybody else, and that's more.
Philadelphia's missed its last 6 shots from the floor after a 7-for-8 start.
I have to wait and see how it works out. We've seen, I want to use the word super team, but felt like they were guaranteed to win, and you just had to see if they could coexist and what the Brooklyn Nets are doing, and everybody buying in and understanding who's doing what has been great to see.
Paul George counted and won a 3-point opportunity. Clippers tonight with 5.
Unbelievable cross out, great concentration, getting the ball on the backboard. You tell the young kids at the basketball camp, when you're going to put the ball for a layup, put it right there in the square. And he in that argument that they just assume it's going to all come together when you flip the switch and the playoffs start for the Nets. You're right. It's just a wait and see thing right now, but I think that is the question for everybody, because they answered the first question: can they coexist? Who's going to play what position? Who's going to do what? And now, as you move closer to the playoffs, now the question is, when you're playing a tough team, who's going to take that big shot? Because they've established who's going to play the point guard. They've established that Kyrie's going to be a scorer and go out there and score and do what he does. And, of course, KD's going to be KD. And then you bring in somebody like a Blake Griffin who's going to see a lot of single coverage. I mean, that's what you want.
Philadelphia struggling from the floor now after starting 7 of 8. The Clippers on an 8-1 run, but they're still down 10. Korkmaz read that defensively, got the steal. Gets it back from Shake Milton in transition, but comes up short on the three. Embiid, though, with another rebound, his fifth, second on the offensive end, and he scores at the rim. 11 points now for Joel Embiid.
Well, Dave, I'll say this. The wonderful thing about what the Sixers have done early, they hit first, they score. So now if they're in a shooting slump like they are, they still have established themselves with a 10-point lead. Or now 12-point lead, but they've established themselves to where they can take the hit in their defense. They can rely on their defense. Here you see Joel Embiid, like just too big, too strong for Batum. He's just holding on, hoping not to get knocked out by that elbow right there. And Embiid knows, like, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you. I just take my time, be patient, and I'm going to get whatever I want. As you see, 11 points, 4 for 5 shooting.
Simmons to go to the bench here for Philadelphia. Rajon Rondo on the floor for the Clippers, playing his 7th game with Los Angeles after coming over in a trade with the Hawks. And Rondo gets to the basket here and lays it in against Embiid. One of the reasons they got Rondo is playoff experience. 121 career playoff games, 2 titles, one with the Celtics in 08 and then the Lakers a year ago.
Got an opportunity to see him work with the young Hawks, and the unbelievable job Rondo has done with Trae Young in preparing him and showing him how to be a point guard and still be the scorer that he is. So this is a great pickup for the Clippers, a floor general, another coach on the floor, and he's going to do wonderful things for Paul George and Kawhi in the playoff. You'll see.
Batum knocks it out of bounds. 2:43 to go in the opening quarter. Philadelphia with a 13-point lead.